Alright, so today I'm going to be going over the UFC 300 card and how I'm going to fix it, because a lot of people are saying it's disappointing, it's shit. A lot of people are saying it's great, it's the best card ever. I'm kind of in the middle, more leaning towards the disappointed side. Don't get me wrong, for any other pay-per-view, this is amazing, amazing card. But for UFC 300, I'm disappointed a little bit. I'll tell you why. One reason, WMA. Zhang Weili versus Yan Xiaonan. It's a big women's title fight. Keyword, WMA title fight. Women's title fight. Have this headline a fight night in China. Like that would be perfect. It's a perfect opportunity to do it. They wanted to do it with Song Yudong. Do it with them too. Like they could do it next month. They could do it this month for fuck's sakes. But it's not too late to change it. I guess it's too late to do it this month. But tell them they're fighting in summer, man. Tell them to get off this card. They'll be happy to fucking fight in China. So that's the problem solver there. To get rid of this WMA fight. This is a great fight. I like this fight. A lot of people are saying it's going to be a mismatch. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Oliveira versus Arman. Again, everyone likes this fight. I like this fight. Yuri versus Rakic. I don't know about Rakic fighting Yuri. I like Yuri in the card, but Rakic, come on. There's a better opponent for Yuri out there. Better opponent for both of these guys. There's better options. They're both good names. They're both good to be on the card, though. Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. It's a mismatch, but they're building Bo Nickel up. He's only 5-0. I can understand why they're doing this. Are there better options that still wouldn't be too super tough? Yes. Is this fight the worst? No. I think it's still a step up. Davis Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. That's a guaranteed banger. We all know it is. There's nothing wrong with this fight here. I mean, a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit of a mismatch. Cody Garbrandt's got no chin, but it's gonna be a fun fight up until the knockout, because we all know Cody Garbrandt's gonna get knocked out. Now back to the problem. Come on, man. Come on. Holly Holm's 45. What is she, like 45? Probably going through menopause. Why is she fighting on UFC 300? Why is there WMA on UFC 300? Especially Holly Holm is boring. Wasn't there memes about her being on UFC 300? Now she's actually on it. This is a joke. Kayla Harrison isn't even going to make weight. Who cares? No one cares about this fight, man. Everyone who says they care about it, let me ask you this. If this was put headlining a fight night, would you watch and would you be excited? Maybe you'll watch if you can, but you won't be excited, and you probably won't even end up watching anyway. Sadiq Yusuff versus Diego Lopez. This is a great fight. Diego Lopez has proved himself a lot in his last two fights. Even in his first fight, he did very well in the fight that he shouldn't have. And he did lose. Yes, he did in fact lose his first fight in the UFC, but it was on short notice against someone really good. There's a lot to it. Sadiq Yusuff just had a war against Edson Barboza. A war. That was a great fight. And he's an entertaining fighter. These are two entertaining fighters. Fireworks. This fight doesn't even deserve to be spoken about by me, man. Come on. Get the fuck out of here. Why is this on UFC 300? Out of all cards, get the fuck out of here. Like, can I move this out of the fucking card? Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. Two legends going at it. I like to see it. And yes, I know Jim Miller's probably about the same age as Holly Holm, but he fought at UFC 100 and 200, and he's still entertaining. So I'm fine with it. And it's not a WMMA fight, so yeah. Bobby Green coming off that knockout loss, which makes this fight more intriguing, because before that, I probably would have been like, okay, Bobby Green's going to run through him. But now, Jim Miller might catch him, and it's an interesting fight. And I know it says they're both ranked number 14. Jim Miller is not ranked at all. But if he wins this, he might be, which makes it interesting, because Jim Miller is going to be ranked, and he's like 40 years old. Imagine he goes on a title run and wins. Which won't happen, but he could beat Bobby Green. It's a possibility. But I'm picking Bobby Green. But anyways, let's get on to my card, which is a better card. Sadiq Yusuff versus Diego Lopez. As I said earlier, man, Diego Lopez made his debut on short notice against Movsar Evloev. 2 or 3 days notice. He did very well in that fight. He almost submitted Movsar a couple times, and he did well. He did decent on the feet too. He did good on the feet. Yusuff Again, his last fight was a war, arguably fight of the year in 2023. Good fighter, solid contender, and I like seeing him welcome Diego Lopez to the top 15. It's going to be a good fight for Diego Lopez to get into the top 15, and a good fight for Yusuf to prove that he should be in the top 15 after that loss to Edson Barboza. Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. Yeah, as I said earlier, there probably are. If the UFC called me like a couple months ago and they said, okay, Bo Nickel's fighting on UFC 300, give him an opponent, I wouldn't pick Cody Brundage. I'd pick someone a bit better like Gerald Meerschaert, but Cody Brundage isn't the worst. You got to remember this. Bo Nickel's supposed to fight Trayson Gore in July, and Cody Brundage knocked that guy out. So I think he's a step up compared to Jamie Pickett and Val Woodburn. He's a step up compared to them, but there's better options. There's better options. But yeah, I'm fine with this fight. I'm not gonna change it. If the UFC gave me the keys to 300, I wouldn't change this fight. Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. It's a good fight. It's two legends going at it. Jim Miller definitely should be on this card. He was on 100, 200. He needs to be on 300. It's an interesting fight. I like it on this card. And now the last fight on the early prelims, Kai Kara France versus Kepe. Like, you can't tell me that this wouldn't be a fire build-up. It would be a firefight. Everything about this fight's good. There's not one thing about this fight that's bad. The fight itself would be one of those flyweight fights where there's just so much skill showed and so much damage taken from both of them. It would be a war. It would be a great build-up. This is a perfect fight for both of them. Put it on UFC. This is a UFC 300 type of fight. Kepe is so funny, man. Bro, Kepe, I love Kepe, bro. He's so funny. Like, him at the press conference with Izzy. The shit he says in his post-fight interviews. Kepe deserves to be in UFC 300, and Kai Kara France is a great dance partner for him. That fight would be such a fucking war, man. This fight needs to be in the card. Josh Emmett versus Giga Chikadze. I almost stuttered saying his name, bro. This guy's got a hard-ass last name to say. But, yeah, the fight was scheduled for UFC 295. Giga Chikadze pulled out. I forget with what. But he said he wants to fight Josh Emmett on 300. And Josh Emmett took no damage in his fight against Bryce Mitchell. He slumped Bryce Mitchell. So, yeah, throw it on this card. Open up the prelims. Great fight. Figueiredo versus Garbrandt. Yeah, as I said earlier, someone's getting finished here. This is the type of fight where you guarantee a finish. Finish is guaranteed. So, put this fight on the card. And I do think Figgy will definitely knock him out. But I feel like up until that knockout, they're going to be... Garbrandt's going to be careful, but I think Garbrandt's going to land some good ones on him, but I just see Figgy catching him. But this is going to be a good-ass fight. Good-ass fight. And it's interesting. It's exciting. I'm excited to see this fight. This is a fight I'm excited to see. So, keep it on the card. Now this, you can't see this fight and tell me it won't be a war. This will be a bloody war. You could just picture them both being bloody going into the third round, ready to both throw everything out. Picture, right, Hooker's fight against Jalen Turner, Dustin Poirier, and Fiziev fight against Justin Gaethje. Just picture those two guys going at it. That would be a fun-ass fight. That's the type of fights that I want to see on UFC 300. A fight like this. Aljo versus Ortega. Yeah, I say you take Kattar out of the fight with Aljo. You put him against Jair. It's not too late to do this. So UFC, if you're listening, still do this. And yeah, oh yeah, and I forgot to mention with these two. Yeah, I know they're both injured, but I think they'll both be ready in time. I hope they will be. And if they're not, too bad, too sad. I can always come up with a fucking good replacement fight. I don't know. Put Jalen Turner against one of them. If either or of them are not ready, because they are both injured. But yeah, take Kattar out. Take him out of the fight. Have him fight Yair on the fight night, the Mexico fight night, and have Ortega versus Aljo. It's a better fight. They're both even on the ground. They're even on the feet. They both are very dangerous to each other on the ground. And neither of them are going to be able to hold them down. It'll be interesting on the ground. I think both of them will be fun to watch against each other on the ground. And, sometimes when their grappling matches out, Maybe they'll start throwing on the feet. Maybe. Yuri versus Roundtree. So with this fight, as I said earlier, don't put Rakic in there, man. Come on. Give Rakic like 50K and tell him he can fight another day. Not on UFC 300. Yuri versus Roundtree is a fight to make. Even if Yuri, I know Rakic isn't a wrestler, but he's coming off an injury. I have a feeling he might try and just lay on Yuri for 3 rounds and get an easy decision. But even if he doesn't do that, and him and Yuri strike, and it's still entertaining, because Yuri will make it entertaining on the feet, Roundtree versus Yuri will be so much more entertaining. So much more entertaining. We all know it will be. Like, this fight on the feet, just picture it. Just picture it. Just picture them fighting. Right? Just close your eyes, picture them fighting. And then close your eyes, picture Yuri and Rakic fighting. This fight's way more entertaining. Yuri versus Roundtree. So pull Rakic out, put Roundtree in. Alright. Oliveira versus Sarukian. Yeah, Sarukian's striking's been getting a lot better. Oliveira, he likes to swing on the feet. He likes to try and pressure people on the feet. And then on the ground, he's always looking for a finish. He's making it fun on the ground. Oliveira's a good grappler. He's going to try and stop that. It's going to be a fun fight. We all know it's going to be a fun fight. And it makes sense for both of them. This is an amazing fight to open up the main card for UFC 300. Because this is opening up the main card. This is a prelim headliner. Alright. Usman versus Shavkat. I think this one's a title eliminator because Leon and Bilal are probably going to fight. I think they should fight on 301. Move that out of Brazil. Move the Brazil card back a couple months because Pereira's going to be fighting on this card. And if he wins, he can headline that card a couple months later. But, yeah. So, if Shavkat wins, he can fight the winner of Leon versus Bilal. If Usman wins and Bilal wins, Usman's getting a title shot. This is basically a #1 contenders match. And this is a fight for Shavkat. If he wants to if he can dominate Usman and finish him, that's something no one's ever done before. I get Leon finished Usman, but he got beat the fuck out of by that fight. Usman walked out of the fight looking like the better fighter. Leon walked out the winner, which fair play to him. He got the belt, and then he proved himself in the rematch, or the trilogy. But this is a #1 contenders match, unless Leon and Usman win, which maybe they will fight for a 4th time, who knows. But if Shavkat can do really well in this fight, dominate him, finish him, he'll stay 19-0 with 18 finishes, or with 19-0 with 19 finishes. He would have done better than Khamzat done against Usman. He would have proved he's a better prospect. He would be the #1 contender, getting a title shot, and that would be a big fight, him versus Leon, if Leon wins, because Leon will be a champion with 3 title defenses. Shavkat will be a dominant contender, undefeated, all finishes, #1. That would be a huge fight. And you could bring that to the UK if Leon wins. But I'm thinking past Usman too much, because I think Usman wins this fight. I think if you do a 5-round fight, I think Usman wins. I think in a 3-round fight it's 50-50, but I give Usman the edge in a 5-round fight. I think this is a winnable fight for Usman. So, yeah. Gaethje versus Holloway. This would be a great fight. 2 strikers, obviously. People are saying it's going to be a mismatch. It won't be. It's going to be a classic. And they're both going to throw on the feet. This is going to be a war. It's going to end up being a great fight. The BMF belt, this is a fitting fight for the BMF belt. And Max Holloway is a fitting contender. And yeah, if Max Holloway wins this, he's right in the title picture. If Gaethje wins this, he even solidified his title shot even more. So, yeah, this is a great fight to keep on the card. Now we're up to the feature fight, the final 3 fights. So I do have an alternative for this fight. In case Stipe doesn't fight, I have somebody else for Aspinall fight, but we'll get to that later. So Aspinall versus Stipe. Winner fights Jon Jones. It makes a lot of sense for both of them. I mean, so Aspinall, if he beats Stipe, Jon Jones has to fight him. This is a good fight. It will be an exciting fight. People will be excited to see Stipe return. And people will be excited to see Aspinall fight again. And the winner fights Jon Jones. Aspinall can 100% lock in that fight with Jon Jones if he beats Stipe. Unless Jon Jones decides to suddenly retire, which wouldn't surprise me. But, yeah, run this fight. And if Stipe wins, he solidifies that Jon Jones fight. He makes that fight even bigger. Imagine how big that fight would be if Stipe beats Aspinall. then people will actually think. Because the whole problem with that Jon Jones fight was that everyone thought Stipe stood no chance. If he beats Aspinall, he proves he has a chance in that fight. This is a fight for Stipe to prove that him and Jon Jones is a big fight that everyone says it is. But I highly doubt Stipe accepts this, if I'm being honest. So my alternative is Aspinall versus Gane. Now I did see Aspinall say, I won't fight Gane, this, that. Let's look at the heavyweight rankings, man. Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane, the two people that are fighting, obviously. Tom Aspinall just knocked out Sergey Pavlovich. Stipe Miocic, this is an alternative fight, so he already declined in this scenario. Curtis Blades has a fight in 299. Volkov already got smoked by Aspinall. Almeida has a fight in 299. And all these people below them, 8, 9, 10, 11, obviously they don't deserve it over Gane. Gane's number 2, coming off a win. He's a great, this guy is a killer striker. He made Ngannou shoot. I don't think Jones wanted part of him on the feet. Listen, I know a lot of this right now sounds like I'm trying to discredit Jones. I think Jones is the greatest of all time. But, and yeah, I give him so much credit for finishing Gane. So, yeah, get that out of the way. But yeah, Aspinall really proved his striking in his last 2 fights. He looked really good on the feet. He knocked both of his opponents out in the first round. He finishes people quick, and maybe he could finish Gane faster than Jon Jones, or maybe Gane will beat the shit out of Stipe and derail the hype train. So yeah, this would be a great fight. I would love to see them strike together. And if they don't strike together, maybe Aspinall takes him down, because that would be pretty easy. Because Gane doesn't have the best wrestling. But yeah, I'd like to see this fight. Now into the co-main event. Dricus Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. Dricus did say that he wants to fight in UFC 300. Now, I know his opponent that he wants to fight is Adesanya, but I have a better fight for Adesanya. So yeah, have Dricus Du Plessis versus Khamzat on this card. I know Khamzat doesn't deserve a title shot, I fully agree, but it's UFC 300. Let's make an exception, because this is the most exciting fight. Now, I know Khamzat posted that thing where he looked all sick and all that, and had a bunch of problems, but so if he isn't able to fight, Dricus versus Cannonier, that would be a good co-main event. I think that would be a very fun fight. Or if Dricus maybe got a little too excited about fighting in UFC 300, he actually isn't ready, have Khamzat and Cannonier fight for the interim belt. Put that as co-main event. That would be a great fight. But I think realistically, if Dricus isn't fighting Adesanya, I think, and he's still on UFC 300, I think he's going to fight Khamzat. So yeah, this would be a great co-main event. It would be interesting. This is a tough fight for Khamzat, and Khamzat could really lose his O here, man. And if he doesn't, he's champion. So either way, the result, it's big. It's big, and it changes a lot. Good co-main event. Now, main event, I think a lot of people saw this coming, because I said Pereira was on the card, and then I just said Izzy's fighting somebody else. Dricus versus Adesanya. Come on, this is self-explanatory. It's 1-1 in MMA, one of the best rivalries in UFC history. The whole kickboxing saga, like even the way Adesanya talks about Pereira, it's like fighting his boogeyman. He finally knocked him out, but after that, he got beat for 5 rounds by the guy that Pereira knocked out, and then Pereira beat the guy that beat Adesanya and did what Adesanya couldn't and become double champion. So Pereira got a couple mental victories after that knockout. And Adesanya, it's still 1-1. It's still 0-2 in kickboxing. If he can beat him here, move up a weight division, and beat him, that can really solidify his rivalry over Alex Pereira and end it. And Izzy can come on top as a winner, because it'll be 2-1 in MMA. It'll be 2-1 MMA. Right now it's 1-1. And if Izzy wins this, also, it's double champion. And he's headlining UFC. This is a perfect fight to headline UFC 300. But let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this card. Like, subscribe, all that.